YouTube has over 114 million channels in existence. Among those 114 million, who knows what kind of content you'll come across. It's been a common trend on YouTube to talk about those channels that are scary, channels that are disturbing, channels with something darker to hide. However, I wanted to do something different. There are plenty of channels I've come across that are a bit on the weirder end, but have an artistic beauty to them. I wanted to talk about the channels that made me say to myself, man, that is oddly fascinating.
There is a YouTube channel known as Nathaniel Hess, which posts these really puzzling yet beautiful videos which all go for around a minute each. They all have a VHS effect added to them and often contain distorted, hard to make out visuals which are incredibly perplexing. A lot of the videos on the channel are very different from each other too. Some will be these really relaxing videos with mellow music and vibrant visuals, and then some are just straight up creepy, having really dark and unnerving audio and visuals. All the music on this channel is done by Nathaniel Hess, who has linked his SoundCloud in the channel description. Many people are questioning whether or not this channel is hiding some deeper meaning or is some sort of ARG. The channel has really cool visuals but contains a lot of peculiar stuff, leaving lots of people wondering if there's some message hidden within these videos.
Their profile picture is the iTunes icon and their background is a Gmod map titled GM Just Wall. As we can see from their videos, everything ends in .mp4 and all contain numbers with the exception of the most recent video. However, there isn't much of an order the videos are in, unless I'm missing some kind of math equation. Their first video was titled 0.mp4. We enter through a forest of some sorts, but everything has a massive VHS filter over it. There's some kind of ominous music playing in the background. Throughout the video, we just get flashes of red moving imagery, and then at the end, the view of the forest heavily distorts. A lot of people seem to be freaked out by this video, but I like it a lot. It gives off some major Zelda vibes. I expected to see the Master Sword and the Deku Tree at the end. This video replicates the imagery you'd see in a dream, and the same applies for his other videos. His second video is titled 4.5.mp4. We get some kind of pink imagery, then we get a house surrounded by snow that's stretched out. We get a lot more flashing black and white pixels of sorts, with some fireworks at the end. The music in the background is very melancholic, kind of like something you'd hear at the end of an RPG like Yume Nikki or Undertale. .mp4 continues the trend of the dreamy imagery and melancholic music, though the music here increases the atmosphere by tenfold. We first get a person and then a city, but then it goes quiet when it goes to a forest, and right after, we get a figure of sorts. The video then continues as usual, focusing on the city as well as a security camera and a castle. think there's supposed to be no real meaning behind any of these videos. At the end of the day, they're all just for aesthetics. Simply just things to admire and look at. .mp4 follows the same formula, this time with horses, trees, and cement blocks. But in the middle, there is a glitched out video of a man using a sink before it goes back to normal, with a bird flying. Then we get the sink again. Now for 3.mp4, the music isn't as sad as the others, but it's a lot more childish. The imagery of flashing colors and waterfalls fits the vibe as well, though for some reason we get a flash of black with hints of motion. A comment down below talked about how it feels like you're being watched. The last video is titled New Earth.mp4, moving on from the numbered titles. The music in this video is a lot similar to that of C418's, the man behind Minecraft's soundtrack. There's a ton of different imagery here, including forests, jellyfish, paintings, and various household items like candles, plants, and lamps. But in the middle, the music fades, and we switch to an irregular beat with a bunch of flashing imagery before the previous song fades back into play with various nature shots. If you go to the SoundCloud in their bio, we see many songs that were featured in these videos, as well as ones we haven't heard before. The songs we haven't heard also fit under that experimental tone as the rest of the songs. Let me go play some of my personal favorites.
Of random stuff throughout pretty much every video on the channel. Although there are many different things that point towards this channel being an ARG or having some sort of deeper meaning, I personally think this channel is just art. I really do think these are just some beautiful visuals made by Nathaniel to put with his music. I don't really think there's some hidden messages or story to follow. I don't know, that's just me. And to explain the random editing, I don't know, sometimes random is good. In my own videos I make when talking about stuff, I will do lots of random editing, like having text on screen cut to low quality palm trees for literally no reason, or when transitioning to the topic of a video, having a low quality image with high exposure play for a couple of seconds with pitched down weird music. There's usually no deep meaning or message behind these type of random edits. For me, I just feel like this makes the visuals way more unique and pretty, which is what Nathaniel might be doing with these videos and edits. And it works, because these visuals are really unique and strange, you know, it really does work. But of course, you know, I could definitely be wrong about this. Maybe we're just gonna have to wait and see if there is any meaning to it when more videos are uploaded, but as of writing this, any message right now is unclear. But yeah, it's a really interesting channel. I highly recommend you check it out and show it some love. I'm really looking forward to seeing more uploads and seeing where it goes.
This channel is called Inu Kuroka or Dog Record. Their videos are relatively short, so I'll just play the full things. That's pretty much just it, just a dog dancing over green screen. These videos are just cute and charming. I couldn't find anything else regarding the channel other than their Twitter, which has the dog and cute stickers. I also found out they were made by a 3D artist named Tom Studio. You know what's funny is that my dog looks exactly like the dog in these videos. Nothing deep here, just felt the need to talk about it. This channel's name is Somebody. That's it, just Somebody. A channel everyone knows is Taya777, which my good pal Adrian Ghastly made a video about. The videos that channel makes are categorized as internet pit stops, places where people go to take a break and make journal entries in the comments. I like to consider this channel I'm about to talk about the next internet pit stop. I say that because these videos were randomly recommended to people, and users have been using the comment sections of these videos to write down whatever is on their mind, whether it pertains to the video or not. If you notice anything about this channel, it's that all the videos have no titles. In order to do this, you need to use special characters that can't be read with YouTube's font. Although, there is another channel called Somebody Else, which gives most of these videos title names. However, not all of Somebody's videos are on here, and it seems the videos are not in the same order. The first video on this channel was uploaded on May 16, 2024 and uses the song A Faint Signal by Infinity Frequencies. Pretty much is a picture of an angel with a VHS filter over it and melancholic music. A lot of the comments for this video are saying a lot of the same thing, where everything is calming and unsettling, and I totally agree. The next video afterwards is titled Too Close to MP4 and has a man looking over a city view with the VHS filter and melancholic music. This time with a different song titled Eschathon 42. The comments on this video are a lot more emotional than the ones in the previous video. It's like they're telling one-sentence stories. This feels right. Empty city, lonely streets, quiet sounds. Only I wish it also consumed me. The sky looks quite beautiful, the man said, standing there. That's pretty much the whole trend of this entire channel. A titleless video with a dreamlike image, VHS filter, and a melancholic sound. All of that is followed by people telling stories of some kind in the comments. The third house displays a house with a shopping cart, and the comments are extremely depressing to say the least. The video in question is titled False Hope.mp4. This feels like when I drink water late at night, and you know that feeling where you just feel like this stuff ain't real? Like you watch it from a third person, and there ain't nothing wrong with it, it's just that weird feeling, you know? The sky sings to me and it hurts me. The words are so sharp, like needles that drain my essence away. Why has life become so dark? The video right after is titled No Name, which shows an empty room of some kind. Does that room look familiar? Yeah, that's why. A lot of the comments reference the famous Android video I Feel Fantastic, but really the background isn't a one-to-one of the actual video. The fourth video shows a forest with two ghosts, and the song being played is a slowed reverb version of Aphex Twin's QKTHR. To me, the ghosts remind me of a kid with their parent, and the feeling the image is trying to give off is that sense of longing to go back to being a kid again. I think this video in particular would hit harder for people who lost a parental figure in their life. Somewhere.mp4 takes place in a setting that is straight out of the movie Vivarium. All I could find is that this place is Backrooms level 94. The other three videos that stuck out to me were Doesn't Exist.mp4, Faraway.mp4, and Somewhere Safer.mp4. Doesn't Exist.mp4 has some Christmas decorations in a snowy background and plays an ambient version of Jingle Bells. The title may be in reference to the fact that Santa doesn't actually exist. This video really embodied how I feel about Christmas now. Christmas just doesn't feel the same anymore. I've grown up past the kid stuff. I'm too old to believe in Saint Nick or get presents. Hell, the last few Christmases I never really did anything festive like watch a movie or build a gingerbread house. As much as I've tried to replicate the holiday spirit I had when I was younger, it's just not there anymore. Faraway.mp4 is particularly interesting. We see a bunch of weird structures, and when you reverse image search the origin of this photo, it's actually an abandoned plant in Moscow. I think the first thing that comes up to everyone's minds is the dystopian world of Half-Life 2, or a Gmod map of some sorts. This image invoked some kind of fear in me. I know earlier I said it was an abandoned plant, but before I knew all that, I was just left questioning what happened here and what was the purpose of these buildings. The comments under this video are quite comedic, referencing things such as how this is an expensive New York apartment, or how this is where Willy Wonka's dad lives. Our last video for this channel is Somewhere Safer.mp4. This time we're in a road, then it switches to a field. We go back on the road and then several different forest shots. The song for this video is titled Wandering Nowhere by Unworn. You know, this video reminds me a lot of the Spanish town in Resident Evil 4. and so old-fashioned, yet so brown and desolate. If you've ever been on a road trip, then being awake on an empty road at night is such a surreal experience. Yet it's one I didn't know I missed. This entire channel evokes so many different kinds of emotions. There are other channels that do something similar by using ambient music and liminal spaces, but really, something about Somebody makes it stand out.
The aura that Somebody gives off is beautiful and oddly cursed. Stumbling across one of these videos on your feed is like stumbling across a liminal space in real life. It makes you stop and just think for a second. Listening to the atmospheric music just puts you in an interesting place. It can feel bleak, nostalgic, or melancholic, while other internet checkpoints are more relaxing, warm, and welcoming. The feeling is translated very well into the comments. People often explain the feeling by writing their own personal experiences or with well-written stories and poems. My personal favorite is the snowy landscape with the bright red sky. The contrasting imagery is just so beautiful, especially paired up with the atmospheric droning noise.
Matthew W. is a channel that is dedicated to making very low-quality gameplay recordings, though you may notice something familiar about these games. The first video he's done is titled Plum Game, which was uploaded on November 30th, 2024. There's some Bandicam footage of a game titled Mario Bros. Coin Collector. I'll let you judge the gameplay. That's pretty much the whole video, just gameplay of a low-effort Mario game. All the videos in the channel follow the same formula. His next video shows us gameplay of a low-quality Undertale. It starts off by this version of Frisk going through obstacles and then through puzzles in Snowdin. Eventually, Frisk approaches Sans, who's just a massive skull. The boss battle is very different, relying on avoiding white circles than the Sans battle we're used to. The player loses and the game is just stuck, with the music still playing. The third video is titled Bald Teach, which is clearly just Baldi's basics. Rather than the first-person 3D view we get from the original game, we get a top-down 2D view. The gameplay does seem relatively the same for the most part until Baldi catches up to our player. Then we get a Galaga-style game. At some point, Baldi just jump scares the player and says some unintelligible speech. Then the game resumes and our player escapes the school, ending the video off with a congratulations screen, as well as a code that can be entered. The following video is a sequel to this one, still playing Baldi, with the code from the last video being entered in. This time, the player can shoot pencils at multiple Baldis. The way this video ends is completely out of nowhere, and just involves a new congratulations screen. We get one more Baldi video that's just an endless mode of the game. Moving on, we get a sequel to Cave System called Cave System Reopened. Our character rematches Sans, defeating him, and proceeds to move on to some area with a bunch of red bush things, while also being surrounded by some kind of dog creatures. Now this video ends with Frisk coming face to face with who I'll assume is Azrael, but they end up being defeated. The next three videos are just low quality versions of Pizza Tower, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Sprunky. I have not played Pizza Tower or Sprunky, so I have to watch gameplay for those. But for the most part, the gameplay of those three videos are pretty similar to their higher quality counterparts. Based on his video where he shows off unreleased soundtracks to the low quality games, he makes his own music as well. He's had a few originals like Taxman, a Pac-Man game that can use different currencies and mainly involves collecting taxes in various different mini-games. The next 5 videos are of Plants vs Zombies, or what he calls it, Zombie Showdown. Everything's pretty similar so far, with Crazy Dave helping you out and defending the home from zombies using plants, though the plant designs are interesting. The pea shooter just uses a gun, and the sunflowers are traffic lights. Plus, instead of sunlight, you collect money. We also get the walnut, who just has a shield, the frozen pea shooter, and then our chomper plant, who just doesn't have a stem. Now his Christmas special video is a very odd one in particular. He plays a game called St. Claus and the Merry Mishap, where the premise is that Santa's reindeers have revolted against Santa, so now you play as Santa with a shotgun to kill off a bunch of reindeers who are attacking you. At the end of the video, there's a weird jump scare with a grayish blob character, who then greets you with a Merry Christmas. So for this entire channel, I fully expected something horror-related akin to a channel like Vibing Leaf, or maybe even something like Lacey's Games and Milton's Math House, but none of that so far except for the Christmas special, which is hardly considered horror. This is just a guy making parodies of popular games. And I dig it. Why he is doing that? I have no clue. Like, there really isn't any clues to tell a story of some kind. More likely, it's just played off for irony. Anyways, let's move on to the next channel. You may remember the video where I talk about Minecraft but it's Midwest emo, and Nirvana's Nevermind but with the Mario 64 sound font. This time, people have done it with Roblox's old sound font. One of my first exposures to Roblox was through a YouTube video, and in that YouTube video, the song The Great Strategy was playing. I really enjoyed hearing that song. That old computer sound combined with that mysteriousness. Fast forward to now, and that exact same sound font is being used for popular song covers. Sometimes, the covers can make a sad song a lot more cheerful. Other times, it can make a song's original emotion a lot stronger. There are also cases where it sounds like you're listening to a song for the first time ever. Whatever it may be, it's just one of those things you randomly stumble across.
Squwaas is a channel filled with many different sketches that are clearly inspired by kaiju, cryptids, and cosmic horror media. His channel goes as far back as 2 years, but what we're really focusing on today are some of his short films. The first one being an Explore Eldritch Horror short film, uploaded on November 27th, 2024. The storyline for the short film is that of an Earth scientist that has been reincarnated into some sort of incomprehensible alien life form on an unknown planet, and seems to be content with living out the remainder of his existence just being a passive observer on this unknown planet.
This is my body. I have no mouth, nor ears, nor nose, and I have no digestive system. What I do have are 5 eyes and appendages for locomotion. I am designed to explore, and nothing more.
The plot is similar to I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, with the main scientist character inhabiting a body with 5 large eyes, but no mouth or ears, with the difference being that he intentionally chooses to inhabit this body. This video has mostly gone unnoticed here in the horror community on YouTube, with the concepts explored here being unique and a breath of fresh air in regards to internet horror.
No one really knows where they came from, but they're here now. It's like one day someone looked around a corner or stared at the mist squinting their eyes and just saw these things. And since then everyone has been seeing them.
His second short film is about various different monsters that coexist with humans, and despite their threatening appearance, they pose no real threat to humanity. And because of that, people are unsure of how to react. The film poses the question of, what would you do in this situation? What would anyone do in this situation? Would you merely blindly accept that these mythical creatures or monsters just exist and observe you? Would you be afraid? Would you react with disgust, anger? Or would you simply ignore them, or even idolize them in a way that ancient cultures viewed mythical creatures or gods? Despite its short duration, it's a bit unnerving and thought-provoking at the same time.
Ever since the invention of alternate dimension portaling technology, we have encountered several anomalies. We have catalogued all of them, but the most perplexing and memorable was anomaly 261. We called it The Visitor.
Another film titled The Visitor is about an experiment that led to a creature from another dimension materializing in our world before walking several miles and then dematerializing. This creature resembled an alien from War of the Worlds, but in its universe, the scientists were able to note that it was the complete opposite of our own. While we have space, it has negative space. While our universe is somewhat comprehensible, the Visitor's universe is incomprehensible, like gods from the Cthulhu mythos and the work of H.P. Lovecraft. It raises many questions and leaves many more unanswered. It isn't afraid to be ambiguous. Many questions that will simply never have an answer. The next video, titled Bronchi Spiders Informational Video, achieves a similar effect as The Visitor. Instead, this video focuses on a tiny species of spider that isn't really a spider. However, the special thing about these spiders is that not only can they enter your dreams, but seeing one in your day-to-day life might indicate that you are actually dreaming. So if you're watching the video right now, you may in fact be dreaming. Yeah, you've heard of the weird shaped lamp or the prehistoric tree? Now get ready for the bronchi spiders. The next film, titled Source of the Wind, is about strong winds that seem to destroy the protagonist's entire civilization, forcing the remaining people to adapt and simply live within this new world. However, the most interesting part is the ending of the film, when the main character comes across a giant skeleton resembling that of a dragon with a giant sword piercing its skull. It is revealed that this corpse is the source of the great wind. The video then ends with no further explanation.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. When the blazing sun is gone, then you bring your light upon. Then you shine your little light. Twinkle, twinkle all the night. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
The last video of note is Twinkle Little Star, Don't Trust the Stars. The entire premise of this video involves the narrator singing a distorted version of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and showcasing an invasion of these giant anglerfish who disguise their own lights as that of stars, most likely to trap and devour anyone unfortunate enough to come near them. Now, this channel was randomly recommended on my homepage, and looking back on it, I'm glad that it was. You see, this is one of those many hidden gems of YouTube that kind of reminds us of how YouTube used to be. Sure, the video and audio quality aren't that great, but that's kind of part of the charm. In a world where internet horror is constantly evolving, this is honestly one of the more terrifying things I've seen. It's because we're watching someone display their own story writing and art for a very small audience. Someone who's just showing off their talent or capabilities for the fun of it, regardless of how many people appreciate it. It's always a treat finding little small creators like this because it shows how YouTube used to be when it first started and how YouTube still should be.
YouTube is at an age of oversaturation. What being a YouTuber really should be is displaying your talents, your interests, your passions, expressing yourself in a way you probably couldn't have before, and just overall having fun. All of these videos do exactly that. They experiment with art forms, and through that, they've built a community of sorts. Before this video, I was originally going to talk about the Jurassic Park found footage series. Not only has it been talked about a lot, but I just wasn't having fun with the video. I decided to take a step back and talk about something I'm a lot more interested in. Why don't I talk about the weird channels that were recommended to me? And look where we are. If you enjoyed today's video, feel free to like, comment down any thoughts or topics I should cover, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like it. Take care of yourselves, and as usual, please have yourselves a damn good one.